Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our midweek moment. Today we're going to look at 12 verses out of James, the 3rd chapter. I provided the link for you to go ahead and read those on your own. Please do so. There is a whole lot going on in there. Verses 7 and 8 and 10 are the ones that just kind of jumped out at me as I was reading along. And in verse 7, James talks about how every species and every creature on the earth is somehow able to be tamed by humans. But then he goes on in verse 8 and says, "But no one can tame the tongue, a restless evil, full of deadly poison." Verse 10 reads, "From the same mouth come blessings and cursing. My brothers and sisters," James writes, "this ought not be so." James really gets right to the point in any of his writings as we have those in front of us in those chapters. Not really sure what was going on in James's first century world that he needed to write that, but evidently things were not as they should be, right? Because he talks about teachers that are going to always be under scrutiny. He talks about people who speak without thinking, causing all kinds of first century chaos. And when I read those 12 verses, it almost sounds like James really wrote that letter in the last fewish to 10ish years, give or take a few years, a decade or more, right? When I read these words out of James today, I am reminded how fragile our world is and how easily it gets upended by all sorts of accusations and the blame game. Today we are reminded, as James writes, "My brothers and sisters, this ought not be so." Our words should be helpful and not harmful. They should bring life and not destroy life. Yeah, you can say, Pastor Terry, you're just being a hippy dippy. Yeah, you betcha. I like my hippie side of who I am. We should bring about the best in our world, not try to destroy it. Today, James reminds us that as we have conversations about the everyday things of life, as we have conversations about the things that are so very, very hard and challenging, our words should be spoken to one another appropriately. When I spend time with a couple before their wedding, we actually spend time doing active listening and speaking exercises. And you might say, why would you have to waste time on that? That's something we do all the time. Well, yeah, we do it all the time, but we are not the best at listening, nor are we the best at speaking. It's something that we mess up time and time again. So I want you to ask yourself, what words have been spoken to you that you will never forget? And who spoke them to you? May our prayer this week be, give us wisdom, O God, to apply your truth to our lives when it is uncomfortable for us to do so. Help us to hear and to listen in mind, body, and spirit. Amen. Have a great rest of the day and get outside and just enjoy the sunshine. See you in church this weekend.